Hi, welcome back to our Earthling project. We are students from Indonesia Institute of Life Science and we will present our third project, insect. In this opportunity, we would like to tell you wonderful things about insect which you might know about. Why insects? Insects are essential to the functioning of all ecosystems. As the dominant herbivores of most terrestrial communities in Pennsylvania, insects move energy from plants up the food chain, supporting vertical link in the food web. Insects are a major food source for many species of fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals. When insects feed and break down both live and dead material, they return nutrients to the soil. Thus, insects are efficient and crucial players in nutrient cycling. Now, let's discuss about the structure of insect. The head, thorax, and abdomen are the three major components of an insect's body. Insects have no internal skeleton. Instead, their soft internal organs are protected by an exterior cell or exoskeleton. Besides some immature species like caterpillars that have prolix, no insect has more than 3 pairs of legs. Furthermore, the lower jaws or maxillae and upper jaws or mandibles are typical insects' mouths that are intended to bite. There are a variety of mouths of insects, such as the moths and butterflies which have tubular sucking mouth parts, and many bugs and other blood-sucking insects which have sucking stepping mouth parts. And some adult insects simply don't have functional mouth parts at all. Moreover, insects have one pair of antennae located on the head. Most insects have one or 2 pairs of wings, although some insects such as lice, fleas, bristletales, and silverfish are completely wingless. Let's see an example. Atropanura lucci is an endemic insect from Indonesia, especially Java Island. It has the characteristic of having the wavy end on the bottom wings. The most common cause of it being endangered right now is because it's usually being captured for decoration. Quite beautiful, isn't it? Another one is Nicoborus americanus, which is an endemic insect from North America this time. It is commonly called the American burying beetle. The characteristic of it is the color of its body, which is shiny, black and fiery body with orange tip antennae. The most common cause of it being endangered is habitat loss. And then there is the Danaus plexipus or monarch butterfly, which is one of the most recognizable and well-studied butterflies on the planet. Its orange wings are laced with black lines and bordered with white dots. Monarch butterflies are native to the North and South America, but they have spread to the other warm places where milkweed grows. Monarch's colorful pattern makes them easy to identify. Milkweed itself is toxic, but monarchs have evolved not only to tolerate it, but to use it to their advantage by storing the toxins in their body and making themselves poisonous to predators such as birds. However, the most common cause of it being endangered is the disappearance of milkweed itself.
So, is it human fault or environment fault that this species is gone? The answer is both. I will show you the example on the next slide. In this slide, you can see that humans reduce the number of insects by making them into a display and also by using pesticides that could kill them. Environment also take part in the extinction of insects. As you can see from this slide, we can see 2 butterflies from the same species, which is Biston betularia, that have a different color. The left one is black and the right one is white. As you know, animal skin color help them hide from predators by camouflaging to their surroundings. From this picture, you can notice immediately which one will be an easier prey to a predator. Because of this, the white butterfly will soon be extinct and the black butterfly won't. This is also known as Charles Darwin theory, which is the principle of natural selection. So, how do we protect them? First is by opening and protecting sanctuary for insects, not buying display from real insects, joining a wildlife group, take part in insect surveys, and promoting wildflower verges. But why do we need to protect them? For what reasons? In nature, each species have their own role in sustaining the environment. For example, butterflies and bees are pollinators responsible for spreading out plant seeds throughout the habitat. Decomposers such as ants and beetles are nature decomposer, which remove organic waste and thus help transferring the nutrient in cycle. Insects such as grasshoppers is an important part of the food chain that helps sustain the environment. Furthermore, did you also know that dragonfly species are actually helping humans by acting as biological control for disease-carrying mosquitoes? And also fireflies help indicate a good environment because they avoid chemical contaminated regions and in addition acts as pollinators and natural pest controls.
Are there any ethical issues in insects? Although there are not a lot of discussions regarding it, ethical issues do exist for insects just like the animal kingdom. The first issue is the collecting insects for research, in which entomologists collect insects for research purposes. One of the goals of the collecting insects is to document biodiversity, with the idea that a greater understanding of biodiversity will make it easier to conserve it. Unfortunately, many insects, not only those targeted by researchers, are killed during collecting techniques, and the potential for insect suffering is rarely considered. Insects can be poisoned with alcohol, trapped in sticky substances, starved to death, and so on in order to obtain them. These treatments are common because we don't give insects much more consideration. In general, we don't perceive insects individually but rather as prototypes or their species. One reason for this is that their consciousness and capacity to experience pain are not as established as those of, say, mammals. Although the treatment of vertebrates is far from perfect, vertebrates are better regarded than insects because we no longer doubt that they are able to feel pain. Thus, research on vertebrates often, which is depending on the country, has to be approved by an ethics committee. This is not the case for insects. Research ethics in entomology are mainly concerned with the environment and species but not with insects as individuals. Second, similarly like collecting insects for research, the insect production for food is made to fulfill human needs in order to develop new resources. However, it is considered to have ethical issues as it might create an impact to human health and also environment. Insect farmers in the United Kingdom are worried about insect pain perception and giving a nice death method to their mini livestock, according to the recent polls. Freezing or freeze-drying are the most popular slaughter procedures used by the large-scale insect farmers, with the premise that the cold-blooded insects will fall asleep and never wake up. So, in conclusion, the biodiversity of insects may seem insignificant, but it plays a crucial role in sustaining lives on Earth, and thus it is also our responsibility to help preserve the existence of insects in our environment. And here we've reached the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for listening to the presentation and see you again in the next video. Goodbye.